Aloha everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of Mega Man 11. So I'm going to be going after Acid Man next because, like with all of my Let's Plays of the Mega Man series, I am going to be going in weakness order. I do like to show off how to make this game a lot easier for the people who think that the Mega Man franchise is really difficult, so here's how you make it a little more simpler. Anywho, Acid Man. Pay attention to the window in the background and what's inside the acid tank, because we might get a sneak preview of the Robot Master we're going to take on, and I love little details like that are constant throughout Mega Man 11. But Acid Man is a cutting-edge scientist robot whose field is advanced chemistry. Ever the perfectionist, he ensures that all chemicals are measured out exactly. Sloppy mixing makes him absolutely furious. He never hesitates to leap into the chemical tanks to check the mixtures, in turn making him an excellent swimmer. His reputation has led the plant employees to call him the Acid Merman behind his back. So yeah, we're in a chemical plant, taking a page from Sonic the Hedgehog's book, I suppose, and when you go diving into the tanks, you're covered in water, you're covered in the chemicals, so this makes it the water level of Mega Man 11, I suppose. Remember, when you're in water in a Mega Man game, you jump super high, and this place is filled with spikes. Just like in every other game, spikes will kill Mega Man in one hit. Doesn't matter how much health you have, if you touch the spikes, boom, you're dead. So you really want to tap jump whenever you're underwater and there's spikes on the ceiling. But they aren't insta-kill depending on the difficulty you're playing, because this game has 4 difficulties. I'm playing on normal. In casual, normal, and superhero mode, spikes will kill you in one hit. But if you're playing in newcomer mode, then you don't have to worry about that. Spikes will only damage you. Not only that, you don't have to worry about bottomless pits, because if you jump into a bottomless pit in newcomer mode, you have infinite Beat the Birds, who is willing to fly down there, pick you up, and save you from whatever hazard you might fall into. So yeah, newcomer mode is actually easier than Mega Man 10's easy mode, which I didn't think a feat was possible. But then again, you all saw my friend BJ play easy mode back in 2010, so I think BJ would have an easier time with this game. Maybe. Either way, the blue Mega Man heads are a 1-up, just like all the Mega Man heads have been in the other games. And now we got ourselves a mini-boss. This mini-boss can only be damaged in the center. If you touch his tentacle arms, there's armor there, and your Mega Buster shots will just bounce off, so you gotta be careful. And remember, you have the speed gear at all times to slow down the action and to have pinpoint accuracy so that your character falls slow, you know when to shoot, and everything's hunky-dory. And also, I gotta apologize, some frames skipped during this fight. That was it. That's all the frame skippage that there was. But, you know, I gotta get a new recorder. For some reason, I keep having issues with games recently. The majority of Mega Man 11 looks fine. It's just with that one part, I had frame skips, and, trying to do professional Let's Plays. And he'll keep shooting the core. Every now and then he's going to spin the cycle, and then you got to watch out for that. But it is super weak to Block Dropper, just like Acid Man is. In fact, that's a good tip for every mini-boss in the game. If you're going in weakness order with the Robot Masters, the mini-boss as well is weak to whatever the Robot Master is weak to. So I could have killed that mini-boss in like 5 seconds with a super powered-up Block Dropper ability, which is fantastic. Anyway, one thing I want to show off, the power wheel. I mentioned this in part 1, but you can actually rotate the right analog stick to select from any of the 8 powers that you get. And if you want to go back to regular Mega Man, just click in the right analog stick and you'll be back to normal. But you can also cycle through with the L and R shoulder buttons, and you can select your power from the menu by pushing pause. That's something you couldn't do in Mighty Number 9. I don't know why. That was made by Inti Creates, but whatever. This game is not made by Inti Creates, and it's actually a really solid game regardless. So yeah. The gimmick with the pool down there, it's red right now, but the guy that I'm fighting right now, he can change the color of the chemicals. I like that. That was good timing. Better you than me. whenever those spider robots get killed by something else, that achievement pops up. But normally it starts off blue, and then if the chemical guy shoots some liquid into it, it turns yellow. Shoots it again, it turns red. And if it shoots it into it again after red, it turns into acid. It turns into the green sulfuric acid that will absolutely burn Mega Man and damage him. It's not one-hit kill, but it will damage you if you fall into it while that happens. You can actually shoot the acid out of the sky, and again, Speed Gear makes that easy to do. But, so if the guy shoots it, don't worry, you can actually shoot the acid away and destroy it before it lands in the pool, giving yourself a little leeway so you can actually run around in it. Even though a lot of the time they have little mini spiders in the pool, and those guys are a son of a bitch since they're so tiny, if you just shoot pellet shots, you're going to shoot over them. And so you have to do a charge shot in order to get rid of them. So yeah. Oh god, these spikes! Whenever you're at the edge, just jump, hold right the entire time. Hold right and just go with the flow. And that way you won't slow down and you'll definitely not get hit by the spikes. But yeah. Again, I love the visual details. I love like the Metul signs in the bottom left corner of the screen right now where it's like, oh, watch out, Metul, you're gonna get burned by the acid. Don't fall in there. Anyway, this boss is weak to Block Dropper, so let's do it.
You've ruined my new concoction! Time for an experiment!
Acid Man starts off turning on his shield. Block Dropper gets rid of it instantly. Although, if you are playing the game without his weakness, Speed Gear and constantly shooting pellets into it will drain it super, super quick. And then he just hops to where you are, so you gotta dodge out of the way of that. He'll take like these little acid shots in random directions. Again, Speed Gear can really help you react to that stuff rather nicely. And then he goes and activates one of the gears after you've drained a whole bunch of his health. In that case, he'll dive into the water, jump out, shoot a whole bunch of pellets, and if you just like jump over the wave, slide away from the bullets, you'll be fine, and eventually he'll stop doing it. But when you have Block Dropper, you can actually hit him while he's down there because they reach all the way to the bottom of the screen. So, yeah. That is Acid Man, and by defeating Acid Man, we get Acid Barrier, which is a fantastic shield power-up for Mega Man. When I just activate it normally, I got myself a shield. It protects me from a whole bunch of projectiles, missiles, pellet shots, whatever, but it will wear off after a while. And it's not because I'm shooting acid out of the cannon, it really does just wear off on its own, so you'll need to refill it every now and then. If you use Power Gear when using the Acid Barrier, you'll actually destroy enemies along with it, not just the projectiles. So Power Gear makes you destroy enemies, regular Acid Barrier does not destroy enemies. Good thing to keep in mind. Anywho, let's go to the shop.
Ah, Mega Man! I've made a breakthrough! I can now create new items for you!
Okay, Mega, what'll it be?
Returning from Mega Man 7 onwards, this game has a shop where you can collect all of the bolts that you collect to buy 1-ups, E-tanks, W-tanks, mystery tanks. You also have Super Guard, Eddie, and Beat, and a mystery item that won't unlock until a certain requirement has happened. But, yeah, you can spend all of the bolts you've collected to get all that stuff, as well as some parts by going right to auto.
Items to help you.
Okay, Mega, what'll it be?
Yo, Mega! Can I interest you in some parts?
So, the parts you get here are pretty common for Mega Man stuff. You know, you get, like, no recoil when you do a charge shot, the ability to walk on icy surfaces so that you're gripping onto the ice, because we do have an ice level coming up. Mystery Chip is something I want to buy early because that actually gets you a lot of bolts. The game doesn't tell you what the Mystery Chip does, but basically, if you beat a level super quick, you get a lot of bolts in compensation for beating a stage really, really quickly. So it's super useful to have because it just makes the game give you money throughout the entire game, and then I can just buy whatever I want. Instead, I bought the Energy Equalizer, the Energy Balancer, so that whenever I'm not in Block Dropper mode and I just use the Block Dropper ability, it will refill that weapon energy when I'm in regular Mega Man mode. You know, it's been in a whole bunch of Mega Man games. It's super useful to have when you're going through Wily's castle, or at least it used to be, but, well, I'll talk about that when we get to that. But for now, let's keep going in weakness order and use Acid Barrier on Impact Man. A construction support robot built to withstand the toughest working conditions, Impact Man mainly works on the foundations of construction projects. His body is made up of 3 independent pile driver robots who call themselves the Impact Brothers: Kuiichiro, Kuijiro, and Kuisaburo. He never hesitates and always rushes to action. His motto is, just push through. So once he's accepted a job, nothing can stop him from smashing through in record time. So yeah, we got a lot of conveyor belts here, and we also have the Pickman enemies, who may make this place a little reminiscent of Gutsman from the original Mega Man, but of course we have to have a Gutsman equivalent. Come on. Dr. Wily loves Gutsman. If he didn't have a Gutsman type robot, his whole plan would be a complete sham, okay? Because Dr. Wily loves Gutsman. It's just absolute. But with this stage, there's a whole bunch of electric fences, electric construction blockers that just damage you if you take contact with them, so shoot them down. It only takes 1 pellet shot. And we get to meet Impact Man right now. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Like I said in his bio, he is made up of 3 Impact robots. Kuiichiro, Kuijiro, Kuisaburo, and I'm butchering their names, I'm sure. But every now and then throughout this level, they actually come through, and they do leave a trail of where they're going to go before they actually go there, which is super helpful and nice. But they plow through the dirt, they go exactly in the direction that they say they are, and you gotta watch out because they hurt like a bitch. They hurt like a bitch. But, once again, speed gear is super helpful to have in Mega Man 11, and you always have access to it as long as you haven't overheated yourself and as long as you have the energy. Enemies actually drop a new item this time around. They actually drop gears along with weapon energy, along with bolts, along with health. So if you pick up a gear, that actually refills and unheats your double gear system and allows you to use an ability a lot longer than you would have. It's not the most useful thing in the world, because I find whenever I activate like speed gear, power gear, I always just turn it off in time, so I don't have to really worry about that. But there they are again. The Impact Brothers are going super quick across the screen. I was thinking of doing a gimmick where I talk in slow-mo, but I think that would be annoying. So yeah, that is technically Impact Man, because those 3 guys make up the Robot Master, which is a really fun detail, and I like that. Technically, we're running into Impact Man right now. Anyway, here we have the Pickman mini-boss, and he's driving this nice construction machinery, which I get a lot of pot shots in with speed gear, but after a while, he's got that crane blocking him, so I can't really shoot him. And you gotta watch out, because you don't want to get trapped underneath it. Its claw will actually reach all the way closer to where he is, and you have to slide under at the right exact time. When a boulder comes down, he will ram the boulder into you. All you have to do is jump over it, and yeah. If you use a powered-up block dropper to drop a ridiculous amount of blocks on him, it only takes 2 hits to kill that mini-boss. Fun fact, you can kill any mini-boss in this game, if you have the right powers anyway, in 5 seconds. Like, really. I could have killed Acid Man's mini-boss in 5 seconds if I just used Block Dropper, and if I didn't want to show you the mini-boss's pattern of him, like, running into the boulder and trying to crash into me, I could have killed him super, super quickly. So this is why it's a pretty good idea to take on Blockman first. You get a super useful ability that not only allows you to kill enemies that are way higher than you, it passes through everything. Like, Block Dropper is not impeded by any kind of obstacle whatsoever. It goes across the entire screen no matter what. And when you have these hard hat enemies and these missile guys who are above you shooting homing missiles and throwing their pickaxes, which always aim for where you are, so you need to dodge out of the way and move out of the way, sometimes it's good to be coming up to them and then just, boom, drop a whole bunch of blocks on them, and they're done like dinner. Done like dinner. Once again, speed gear is helpful, but you still have to react in time, you know? I jumped the gun. I, like, jumped way too early, because for some reason I thought it would come to me a lot closer, so if you are going to use speed gear, make sure you jump at the last minute so you know when to dodge these things. Ugh. Very tight, very tight. You have to stay on these platforms the entire way through, because all I have is Rush Coil. I don't have Rush Jet or anything. Rush Jet ain't going to show up until much later. But you can actually use Rush Jet on the conveyor belts, which is nice. So for this E-Tank, booyah! Just push Rush Coil on the platform, and then you can jump as high as you want on the platform. And I'm sure speedrunners have taken advantage of that quite well, so... I have seen some fun speedruns in the gallery mode, because there's a challenge menu, and you can rewatch replays of the stages, and when you see expert speedrunners playing this game, oh my god, Mega Man 11 can go so freaking fast, it's awesome. What else is awesome? The charge shot just passes through all the enemies, hell yeah. Anyway folks, time to use Acid Barrier on Impact Man.
Maximum impact!
Like Guts Man, Impact Man actually leaves a quaking, like shaking effect on the ground when he lands. Whenever he jumps and lands, your character's going to shake a little bit, so you have to make sure you jump before he lands. And he can also transform into his 3, Impact Brother forms in order to leave spikes on the ground. He'll do it when he's in Power Gear mode to actually drill into the ground. And again, keep in mind, I have to jump because my character will shake otherwise. So be very, very careful. But he has this charge move that he'll occasionally do where he goes from one side of the screen to the other. So once you see him like brace and once you see him like do the pose, maybe activate Speed Gear for then, so that when he comes super, super close to you, you can jump over him no problem. But again, you only have so much Speed Gear. Remember, if you use it too much, it'll overheat. So you gotta be careful. But the fun thing about Speed Gear, invulnerability states actually last the same speed in speed mode. So like, it will be the same amount of time whether it was in regular mode, regular speed, and you can actually get a lot of shots in that way because invulnerability does not go by Speed Gear's logic. So, yeah. Anyway, by defeating Impact Man, we get Pile Driver, which is just a lunging melee attack. But the good thing about it is that when you jump and use it, it actually gives you a little bit of an air dash. And speedrunners love using that to get some shortcuts and to go higher and forward above things they don't want to run into. So you got ourselves a nice air dash melee attack, which is super, super helpful. Anyway, folks, come back for part 3.